foolish thing was but a toy, for the rain it raineth every day, with a high ho, the wind and the rain, and the rain it raineth every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. We have been dark for a couple of months. Family issues have prevented me from being able to do it. I'm glad that even though I'm away from home, just here staying with family, I can stream from Bakersfield here. So and I've missed tuning in every Saturday and performing randomly chosen Shakespeare scenes with our friends here. We've got a small group today here so far, just myself, Sheila, and Bill, but nevertheless, the three of us look forward to performing randomly chosen Shakespeare scenes for you guys. And I've missed doing it. I look forward to jumping right back into this right now, and hopefully we can build the group up and build the group back up and start making it a regular thing every Saturday at noon Pacific time from now on, as we had been before. Based on the randomly chosen order, it's going to be myself first. I will do the first monologue, myself, then Bill, then Sheila, and then we'll spin for some scenes. Okay, so here's the wheel up. Go. Okay, so I'm spinning for myself first. The monologue that I will do will be the boy who knew the script. End of that precinct. Okay. Okay, I don't think I've done this one before. This will be a total difference from what I'm used to. As young as I am, I have observed these three swashers. I'm a boy to them all three, but all the three, though they would serve me, could not be man to me. For indeed, three such antics do not amount to a man. For Bardolph, he is white-livered and red-faced, by the means whereof he faces it out, but fights not. For Pistol, he hath a killing tongue and a quiet sword, by the means whereof it breaks his words and keeps whole weapons. For Nym, he hath head that man of few words are the best men, and therefore he scorns to say his prayers, lest he should be thought a coward. But his few bad words are matched with his few good deeds, for he never broke any man's head but his own, and that was against a post when he was drunk. They will steal anything and call it purchase. Bardolph stole a lute case, bore it 12 leagues, and sold it for 3 halfpence. Nym and Bardolph are sworn brothers in filching, and in Calais they stole a fire shovel. I knew by that piece of service the men would carry coals. They would have me as familiar with men's pockets as their gloves or their handkerchiefs, which makes much against my manhood. If I should take another's pocket to put into mine, for it is plain pocketing up all wrongs, I must leave them and seek some better service. Their villainy goes against my weak stomach, and therefore I must cast it up. Okay. That was an interesting change for me. Okay, so Bill is up now, and he is going to do the prologue.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're ready to go.
Okay. In Troy, there lies the scene. From isles of Greece, the princes Orgolos, their high blood chafed, have to the port of Athens sent their ships, fraught with the ministers and instruments of cruel war, 69, that wore the crownets regal from the Athenian bay, put forth toward Phrygia, and their vow is made to ransack Troy, within whose strong immures the ravished Helen, Menelaus' queen, with wanton Paris sleeps. And that's the quarrel. To Tenedos they come, and the deep drawing barks do their disgorge their warlike fraughtage. Now on Dardan plains the fresh and yet unbruised Greeks do pitch their brave pavilions. Priam's six-gated city, Dardan and Timbria, Helios, Chaetus, Troyan, and Antinorides, with massive staples and corresponsive and fulfilling bolts, spur up the sons of Troy. Now expectation, tickling skittish spirits on one and other side, Trojan and Greek, sets all on hazard. And hither am I come, a prologue, armed, but not in confidence of author's pen or actor's voice, but suited in like conditions as our argument, to tell you, fair beholders, that our play leaps, or the vaunt and the firstlings of those broils, beginning in the middle, starting thence away to what may be digested in a play. Like or find fault, do as your pleasures are now, good or bad, 'tis but the chance of war. See?
Okay, very nice. So it is now Shelia's turn, and then if nobody has any objection, I'm thinking, since there's only three of us, before we spin for scenes, why don't we go ahead and let's each do two monologues before we go for scenes. I kind of like to do that, not have a shorter round just because we have fewer people. Maybe take advantage of that. Means that the few people get to perform more. Okay, so Shelia's first monologue will be. And can you conclude, pardon me, Act 3, Scene 1. Act 3, Scene 1 of Julius Caesar begins with, "Oh, pardon me." So whenever you're ready, go. Sheila, you're muted.
I have no idea how that happened. Sorry about that.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and start over since you started when you were muted.
Very good. I'll get back in. Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood. Over thy wounds now do I prophesy, which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips to beg the voice and utterance of my tongue. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar that mothers but shall smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hands of war. All pity choked with custom of fell deeds, and Caesar's spirit ranging for revenge with 8 by his side, come hot from hell, shall in these confines with a monarch's voice cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war, that this foul deed shall smell above the earth with carrion men groaning for burial. Scene.
Awesome. That was great. It's funny. When I saw the "Oh, pardon," I said I didn't recognize that offhand. I didn't realize that you started it. That was the one that contained that. Probably not a famous monologue, but it contained the famous line, "The let slip the dogs of war" one. I wasn't expecting that, so that was cool, and you did. You pulled it off great. And great. While you were performing, I see Henry joined us, so we got one more player. So that's fortunate. Still with only 4, I still want to say that let's each do 2 monologues before we go. But so before I go back to myself, though, Henry made it, which we're glad he made it. So he'll perform with us before we go back for another round of monologues. Let's finish with Henry. He's going to do. Wild card. Use anything. I guess whatever you want. What are you going to do for us, Henry?
I'll do. I'll do the opening of Richard III. Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'll go Richard, Duke of Gloucester, because you're not King Richard yet. Oh, I think I forgot to put the. You didn't see that was a mistake. I didn't put the wheel into the. Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead and start with that. Henry spun wild card, and he chose the opening of Richard III.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this sun of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barded steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a latest chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I, that am rudely stamped and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton, ambling nymph, I, that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak, piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to spy my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams that set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate, the one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy which says that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here Clarence comes. Brother, good day. What means this armed guard that waits upon your grace?
Hey, good choice. When you got the wild card and you do whatever, I've always that's one of the ones done so often, but never gets old. So good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do another round of monologues before spinning for scenes. We're going to go in the same order, so it's my turn again. My second monologue will be the epilogue. So, as you like it. Okay. It is not fashion to see the lady, the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord, the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in then, that neither a good epilogue nor cannot insinuate with you in the behalf of a good play? I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breasts that I defied not. And I am sure as many as have good beards or good faces or sweet breaths will for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell. Okay. Got a couple interesting changes for what I got today. Okay. So we're back to Sheila for her. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Bill. I'm sorry. Bill went after me. Bill and then Sheila, then Henry. Okay, so now Bill is going to do title Spinny Grayfathers.
3-1.
3-1. I think I believe it's the top of the scene.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Factory scene 1. Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Hear me, grave fathers, noble tribunes, stay. For pity of mine age, whose youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept. For all my blood in Rome's great quarrels shed, for all the frosty nights that I have watched, and for these bitter tears which now you see filling the aged wrinkles in my cheeks, be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls are not corrupted as 'tis thought. For 22 sons I never wept, because they died in honor's lofty bed. For these tribunes, in the dust I write my heart's deep languor and my soul's sad tears. Let my tears stanch the earth's dry appetite. My son's sweet blood will make it shame and blush. O earth, I will befriend thee more with rain that shall distill from these 2 ancient urns. Then youthful April shall with all his showers in summer's drought I'll drop upon thee still. In winter with warm tears I'll melt the snow and keep eternal springtime on thy face, so thou refuse to drink my dear son's blood. O reverend tribunes, O gentle aged men, unbind my sons, reverse the doom of death, and let me say that never wept before, my tears are now prevailing orators. See.
Okay, thank you. Very nice. So Sheila is up now. And she's going to do St. Crispin's Day speech.
4-3.
So Sheila's going to do that, then Henry's going to do a second monologue, and then we'll spin for scenes. So St. Crispin's Day speech, Henry V, Act 4, Scene 3. Oh, that we had just a few of the men in England that do no work today.
What's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. No, faith, my cause, wish not a man from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honor as one man more, methinks, would share from me for the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish one more. Rather, proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when the day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, "Tomorrow is Saint Crispian." Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars, and say, "These wounds I had on Christmas Day." Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot. But he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good men teach his son, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whiles any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day.
Hey, awesome. So, before scenes, now we got one more monologue from Henry, and he's going to do. Antigonus, come to a bird. I believe this is the monologue he delivers before the most famous stage direction of all time, before he exits pursued by a bear.
Right.
I might be wrong, but I think that's what this is. Okay, Antigonus and the Winter's Tale, Act 3, Scene 3.
Yes. Exit pursued by a bear. Come, poor babe, I have heard, but not believed, the spirits of the dead may walk again. If such thing be, thy mother appeared to me last night, for ne'er was dream so like a waking. To me comes a creature, sometimes her head on one side, some another. I never saw a vessel of like sorrow so filled and so becoming. In pure white robes, like very sanctity, she did approach my cabin where I lay. Thrice bowed before me, and gasping to begin some speech, her eyes became two spouts. The furies spent, anon did this break from her. Good Antigonus, since fate against thy better disposition hath made thy person for the thrower out of my poor babe, according to thine oath, places remote enough far in Bohemia, there weep and leave it, crying. And for the babe is counted lost forever, Perdita, I prithee, call it. For this ungentle business put on thee by my lord, thou ne'er shalt see thy wife Paulina more. And so with shrieks she melted into air. Affrighted much, I did in time collect myself, and thought this was so, and no slumber. Dreams are toys. Yet for this once, yea, superstitiously, I will be squared by this. I do believe Hermione hath suffered death, and that Apollo would, this being indeed the issue of King Polixenes, it should here be laid, either for life or death, upon the earth. Of its right, Father. Blossom, speed thee well. There lie, and there thy character. There these which may, if fortunate, please, both breathe thee pretty and still rest thine. The storm begins. Poor wretch, that for thy mother's fault art thus exposed to loss and what may follow. Weep I cannot, but my heart bleeds, and most accursed am I to be by oath enjoined to this. Farewell. The day frowns more and more. Thou'rt like to have a lullaby too rough. I never saw the dim heaven so dim by day. A savage clamour. Well may I get aboard. This is the chase. I am gone forever. End of scene.
Exit pursued by bear. Okay, great. So let's see what scenes we'll do to we'll spin for some random scenes to create roles for the four of us. And we'll choose, again, the opposite order in which we performed will be the order in which you get to, we have people choose their roles from. Okay, measure for measure. That's at Claudio and Lucio. I believe that's the condemned man and his mischievous friend. Claudio and Lucio, Act 1, Scene 2. And all's well that ends well. It's not just in home, right? Act 1, Scene 3. Okay. So the Countess, Helena, Claudio, and Lucio are the four choices. Henry, what would you like?
I'll do Claudio. Claudio, please.
Okay, Henry will take Claudio. Sheila, what would you like?
Oh, I think it's Bill's turn, isn't it?
No, it was me, Bill, you, Henry is the order we went in, and we'll go reverse. We go reverse order first.
Oh, got it. Okay. Let me see. I'll be the Countess.
Countess, Alicia. Bill, you got Helena or Lucio?
Lucio, please.
Okay, so that leaves me to be Helena. Okay, so the measure. Let's see. Let me create the banner, and then you guys can find that one. It's Act 1, Scene 2 for measure for measure. So whenever you guys are ready.
At what point are we going to start?
About halfway down. It's about halfway down the scene with Lucio and Claudia. Quite a short scene, actually. Do you find it? Lucio, why, how now?
Oh, okay. Just stumbled on it, just as you said that. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Why, how now, Claudio? Whence comes this restraint?
From too much liberty, my Lucio, too much liberty. As surfeit is the father of much fast, so every scope by the immoderate use turns to restraint. Our natures do pursue like rats that raven down their proper bane a thirsty evil, and when we drink, we die.
If I could speak so wisely under an arrest, I would send for certain of my creditors. And yet, to say the truth, I'd as lief have the foppery of freedom as the morality of imprisonment. What's thy offense, Claudio?
What but to speak of would offend again?
What? Is't murder?
No,
Lechery?
call it so.
One word, good friend. No, wait a minute.
One word, good friend. Lucio, a word with you.
100, if they'll do you any good. Is lechery so looked after?
Thus stands it with me. Upon a true contract, I got possession of Julietta's bed. You know the lady, she is fast my wife, save that we do the denunciation lack of outward order. Thus we came not to only for propagation of a dower remaining in the coffer of her friends, from whom we thought it meet to hide our love till time hath made them for us. But it chances that stealth of our most mutual entertainment with character too gross is writ on Juliet.
With child, perhaps?
Unhappily, even so. And the new deputy now for the Duke, whether it be the fault and glimpse of newness, or whether that the body public be a horse whereon the governor doth ride, who newly in the street, that it may know he can command, lets it straight feel the spur, whether the tyranny be in his place or in his immense that fills it up. I stagger in. But this new governor awakes me all the enrolled penalties which have, like unscoured armour, hung by the wall so long that 19 zodiacs have gone round and none of them have been worn. And for a name now puts the drowsy and neglected act freshly on me. 'Tis surely for a name.
I warrant it is. And thy head stands so tickle on thy shoulders that a milkmaid, if she be in love, may sigh it off. Send after the Duke and appeal to him.
I have done so, but he's not to be found. I prithee, Lucio, do me this kind of service. This day my sister should the cloister enter, and there receive her approbation. Acquaint her with the danger of my state, implore her in my voice that she make friends to the strict deputy. Bid herself assay him. I have great hope in that. For in her youth there is a prone and speechless dialect, such as may move men. Beside, she hath prosperous art when she will play with reason and discourse, and well she can persuade.
I pray she may, as well for the encouragement of the like which else would stand under grievous imposition, as for the enjoying of thy life, who I would be sorry should be thus foolishly lost at a game of tic-tac. I'll to her.
I thank you, good friend Lucio.
within 2 hours.
Come, officer, away. Ta-da.
Okay, thank you guys. So now Helena and the Countess, myself and Celia. So I don't know if you did you want
No, I think it moves better if you just come in and talk to me.
okay, yeah, because I was gonna, if you wanted to say the part before, I would take myself out of the stream and then just use it, and I'll add myself to the stream when I'm making my entrance. But if you want to start with my line, that works too.
Sure.
Okay. What is your pleasure, madam?
You know, Helen, I am a mother to you.
Mine honorable mistress.
Nay, a mother. Why not a mother? When I said a mother, methought you saw a serpent. What's in mother that you start at it? I say I am your mother, and put you in the catalogue of those that would and wound mine. 'Tis often seen adoption strives with nature, and choice breeds a native slip to us from foreign seeds. You ne'er oppressed me with a mother's groan, yet I express to you a mother's care. God's mercy, maiden, does it curd thy blood to say I'm thy mother? What's the matter that this distempered messenger of wet, this many-colored iris, rounds thine eye? Why, that you are my daughter?
And I am not.
I say I am your mother.
Pardon, madam. The Count Rousillon cannot be my brother. I am from humble, he from honored name. No note upon my parents, his all noble. My master, my dear lord he is, and I his servant live, and will his vassal die. He must not be my brother.
Nor I your mother.
You are my mother, madam. Would you were, so that my lord your son were not my brother. Indeed, my mother. Or were you both our mothers? I can no more for than I do for heaven, so I were not his sister. Can't no other but I, your daughter, he must be my brother?
Yes, Helen, you might be my daughter-in-law. God shield you mean it not. Daughter and mother so strive upon your pulse. What, pale again? My fear hath catched your fondness. Now I see the mystery of your loneliness, and find your salt tears head. Now to all sense 'tis gross. You love my son. Invention is ashamed against the proclamation of thy passion, to say thou dost not. Therefore, tell me true. But tell me then 'tis so. For look, thy cheeks confess it, the one to the other, and thine eyes see it so grossly shown in thy behaviors that in their kind they speak it. Only sin and hellish obstinacy tie thy tongue, that truth should be suspected. Speak. Is't so? If it be so, you have wound a goodly clue. If it be not, forswear it. However, I charge thee, as heaven shall work in me for thine avail, tell me truly.
Good madam, pardon me.
Do you love my son?
Your pardon, noble mistress.
Love you, my son?
Do not you love him, madam?
Go not about. My love hath in it a bond whereof the world takes note. Come, come, disclose the state of your affection, for your passions have to the full appeached.
And I confess, here on my knee before high heaven and you, that before you and next unto high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor but honest, so's my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved of me. I follow him not by any token of presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Yet never know how that desert should be. I know I love in vain, strive against hope, yet in this captious and intensible sieve I still pour in the waters of my love, and lack not to lose still. Thus Indian-like, religious is mine error. I adore the sun, and looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more. My dearest madam, let not your hate encounter with my love, for loving where you do, but if yourself, whose aged honor cites a virtuous youth, did ever in so true a flame of liking wish chastely and love dearly that your Diane was both herself and love, oh, then give pity to her, whose state is such that cannot choose but tend and give where she is sure to lose. That seeks not to find, that her search implies, but riddle-like lives sweetly where she dies.
Had you not lately an intent, speak truly, to go to Paris?
Madam, I had.
Wherefore? Tell true.
I will tell truth. By grace itself I swear. You know my father left me some prescriptions of rare and proved effects, such as his reading and manifest experience had collected for general sovereignty, and that he willed me in heedfullest reservations to bestow them, as notes whose faculties inclusive were more than they were in note. Amongst the rest, there is a remedy approved set down to cure the desperate languishings whereof the king is rendered lost.
This was your motive for Paris, was it? Speak.
My lord, your son made me to think of this, else Paris and the medicine and the king had from the conversation of my thoughts haply been absent then.
But think you, Helen, if you should tender your supposed aid, he would receive it. He and his physicians are of a mind. He that they cannot help him, they that they cannot help. How shall they credit a poor, unlearned virgin when the schools, emboweled of their doctrine, have left off the danger to itself?
There's something in it, more than my father's skill, which was the greatest of his profession, that his good receipt shall from my legacy be sanctioned by the luckiest stars in heaven. And would your honor but give me leave to try success, I'd venture the well-lost life of mine on his grace's cure by such a day and hour.
Dost thou believe it?
Aye, madam, knowingly.
Why, Helen, thou shalt have my leave and love, means and attendance, and my loving greetings to those of mine in court. I'll stay at home and pray God's blessing into thy attempt. Be gone tomorrow, and be sure of this, what I can help thee to, thou shalt not miss.
Okay. Well, that was great. I'm glad that you guys made it back. It feels good to be back with the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. We put it up, and hopefully we won't have any other interruptions. Hopefully we can get back on the regular schedule of doing this every Saturday. So the people watching, hope you guys enjoyed it. Tune in same time next week for the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, noontime Pacific Daylight Time, every Saturday. See you guys next week for the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. Bye now.
Thank you, Mark.